There are moments in life when everything you thought was stable begins to shift. The future no longer feels solid. Your mind clings to plans, hopes, and imagined outcomes that now seem uncertain. In these moments, fear doesn't always scream. It whispers, slowly and consistently. It asks, what if? What next? What now? And suddenly, your peace becomes conditional, tied to answers that haven't arrived. But Buddhism teaches us that clarity is not something you chase. It is something you uncover when you become still enough to see through the noise. Uncertainty isn't the enemy. It's a mirror. It shows us how deeply we attach ourselves to control, to knowing, to expectation. We panic not because we are unsafe, but because we are unfamiliar with surrender. We want to predict the path, but sometimes the path requires patience, not prediction. And the most powerful thing you can do in uncertain times is nothing. Not in the sense of passivity, but in the sense of presence. To stop running from the unknown and start sitting with it. The mind is a storyteller. When it doesn't know the ending, it invents one. It plays out fears like scenes in a movie, rehearsing failure, pain, and loss, again and again. But just because your mind imagines something doesn't make it true. Buddhism reminds us to treat thoughts like passing clouds. They arise, they move, they dissolve. You don't need to silence your thoughts. You just need to stop following them blindly. Notice them, bow to them, and let them pass without chasing. When things feel unstable, we look for ground. But not all ground is found beneath your feet. Sometimes the only solid place is within, your breath, your awareness, your stillness. This is where Buddhism gently guides us. Return inward, not to escape, but to remember. Remember that peace isn't something the world gives you. It's something you choose, again and again, no matter what the world does. And that choice always begins in stillness, not reaction. Ask yourself, what is truly happening right now? Not what your fear says, not what the news says, not what might happen. But right now, this very moment, are you safe? Are you breathing? Most of our suffering comes not from what is, but from what could be. We try to control the uncontrollable, fix the future, outrun discomfort. But in doing so, we abandon the only place where life is actually happening. Here. Peace begins when we stop arguing with the moment and start listening to it. A world that worships urgency, stillness feels radical. Control is comforting, but it's also an illusion. We try to organize life into neat plans, solid expectations, perfect outcomes. But life is a river, not a calendar. The more you try to grip it, the more exhausted you become. Buddhism teaches us to let go, not because we don't care, but because clinging creates suffering. You can still move forward with intention, but peace comes when you surrender the outcome and stay rooted in the now. Let the river move. You are not lost, you are flowing. There is a kind of strength in softness. The world tells you to be sharp, alert, prepared for anything. But Buddhist wisdom says, soften first. Soften your shoulders. Soften your breath. Soften your resistance. Because only in softness can you truly receive what life is giving you. If you meet uncertainty with force, you add pressure. If you meet it with stillness, you create space. And in that space, peace can enter. You don't need to fix the future to find peace in the present. You only need to stop abandoning yourself in thought. When your mind runs, bring it back. To your breath, to your body, to the air touching your skin. This is not avoidance. This is devotion. A devotion to being here, even when your mind tells you to escape. Uncertainty loses its power when you learn to stay. Not because the unknown becomes clear, but because you become unshaken. Most people wait for peace to come from their circumstances. They say, I'll feel calm when things get better. But that kind of peace is fragile. It depends on something outside of you behaving the way you want. Buddhism shows us a different path, one where peace begins within, regardless of conditions. Not because you're indifferent, but because you're awake. You realize you don't need the world to calm down for you to breathe deeply. You just need to remember, you are not the storm. Let discomfort be your teacher. We avoid it, distract from it, numb it. But beneath every tightness, there is a message, and only in stillness will you hear it. Sit with the tension in your chest. Breathe into it like it's an old friend, not an enemy. Say to it, I see you. I'm not afraid of you anymore. This is the moment healing begins. There is power in slowing down. In a world that worships urgency, stillness feels radical. But peace isn't found in speed. It's found in attention. In the way you sip your tea. In the way you watch a leaf fall. When everything outside feels uncertain, bring certainty to the way you show up inside. Choose gentle over frantic. Choose present over perfect. Choose now over next. Sometimes you won't feel peaceful, and that's okay. Buddhist practice doesn't promise constant calm. It offers a way to stay kind, even when your mind is loud. So when fear arises, don't judge it. When doubt appears, don't fight it. Just watch. Just breathe. Just allow. This is not passivity. This is awareness. And awareness, when sustained with compassion, always softens the noise. You may feel alone in your uncertainty, but remember, everyone is carrying something invisible. Behind every confident face is a heart that has struggled. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply human, walking through a season that requires gentleness, not perfection. So give yourself what you would give a friend: patience, space, and permission to not know. We think clarity comes from information, but often it comes from silence. A walk with no destination, a moment with your phone turned off, a breath taken slowly, just for the sake of breathing. In these spaces, the fog begins to lift, not all at once, but gently, without force. Clarity doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Let go of needing a plan. The mind clings to structure, what to do, where to go, how to fix it all. But sometimes, peace lives in the pause between plans. When you stop pushing forward, life catches up with you. It shows you signs you weren't still enough to notice. A smile, a breath, a quiet knowing that you're exactly where you need to be. You don't always need to move. Sometimes you need to stay and see. You were never meant to carry everything. Not every burden, not every outcome, not every answer. Lay some of it down. Not because you're giving up, but because you're trusting life to hold what you cannot. There's strength in asking less of yourself, and softness is not the opposite of power. It is the gateway to it. When uncertainty feels loud, return to rhythm. The rhythm of breath, of footsteps, of small daily rituals. Make tea slowly. Wash your hands with care. Feel your presence in the ordinary. Peace doesn't arrive all at once. It arrives in pieces, in the small, repeated acts of awareness. That's how we stay grounded, not by solving life, but by showing up to it fully. You don't need every answer to rest. You don't need perfect clarity to feel calm. You only need to stop searching long enough to notice. This moment is enough. It may be uncertain, it may be incomplete, but it is alive, and so are you. Let that be enough, just for now. The mind will keep reaching, but your breath knows how to return. One day, you will look back at this season, not with fear, but with grace. You'll see how much you learned by not knowing, how much strength grew in the silence, how much peace arrived when you stopped demanding answers. You'll realize that you weren't falling apart. You were simply learning how to be still in the unknown. And in that stillness, you became whole. You are not here to solve life. You are here to meet it. Fully, softly, one breath at a time. Uncertainty is not the end of peace. It is where peace is born. Not because everything becomes certain, but because you become steady in the face of it. And now, I ask you this. What helps you stay calm when nothing feels certain?